Very important broadcast lined up for you on this July 29th, 2008, worldwide broadcast against tyranny in defense of liberty. Steve Watson is joining us in 30 minutes. British kids encouraged to become climate cops and to, quote, report on their parents. It is now also being set up here in the United States. We have incredible video that the New York Times is reporting on where a police officer runs 15 feet at least, full power, knocks a cyclist off who busted his head open on the concrete and was in serious condition, and the police charged the cyclist for assaulting the officer. The video is on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com right now. This is the evil. This is the wickedness of the government, ladies and gentlemen. Video of the cop. You have hundreds of bicyclers going down the road. He's trying to shove and push other bikes. They're swerving out of his way. He becomes enraged and runs like an NFL linebacker, and full power. Guy had to, played football in high school. Hits the cyclist on the side, knocking him with full leverage power, head first, slamming into the curb. What did they do? They booked him. That's how America works. And it's going to get a lot worse. And all of you sickos on the message board and the comment areas and commenting on the YouTube that the cyclist deserved it, the IRS is going to take everything you got. Your children are going to be drafted to fight at endless wars. You're going to be abused, too. And I want the evil police that are part of this to know something. Not the good ones, but the bad ones that are backed up by the city halls and the governors and the feds. Bad stuff's going to happen to you at the hands of this new world order. Tyranny goes around, ladies and gentlemen, and you think you're going to escape this wickedness, and if that isn't bad enough. Headline, here I have in the stack, Missouri police taser injured boy 19 times. The Tattletale Society, the young man was 16-year-old, no criminal record. They tested his blood, no drugs, walking home after his late-night job over a highway overpass. Someone said it was suspicious to have someone walking down the highway. This was in the Ozarks. And then the next we hear, he's fallen off the bridge. This is what the police are saying, but they won't release the squad car video. His back is broken. It knocked his foot off. The 35-foot-plus fall knocked his foot off. It says broke his foot off. He is bleeding and broke back. He has a broken back. He is paralyzed from the neck down. The police then pound him in the face because he wouldn't get up, double black eyes, and then taser him 19 times for not getting up. Oh, yes, we have the local newscast where they don't even report that till the end. It's kind of like, oh, he fell and broke his back and then got, by the way, tasered 19 times. This is the savage evil of hardcore felons and criminals and thugs joining the police force and being chosen for this. It is off the charts evil. The video that's up on PrisonPlanet.com of this happening. In fact, it was posted on the main page yesterday. It's already rotated into the police state archive. I want to get that posted back on the main page of PrisonPlanet.com and Infowars.com. Just absolutely incredible. And we get videos like this now every day. You'll have skateboarders in San Diego just happily skateboarding peacefully, and a cop just pulls up and runs up screaming, tackling them and hitting them and stealing their skateboards and laughing. Video of children playing with toy cars. Cops come up and just go, ah, stomp them. You couldn't make this up. Savage evil exploding everywhere. Massive death camps are built. The government's hired their death force. They're moving against us now. Their Pentagon control grid's in place. And they've been told they can have their way with us and let the slaves know that they're nothing but pathetic slaves. You know what makes me angry? But more than making me angry, makes me sad for this country. We now have institutionalized corruption in the United States. We've always had problems. There's always been bad apples in government. But when it becomes institutionalized, you have tyranny. And that's exactly what we've gotten nationwide, is a corruption that is nothing like we've ever seen in our history. We've had cities like New York that have gone bad with big city mob bosses basically running the city. We've had Chicago do the same for a long, long time. But now it's most small towns. Now it's almost every major city. Some are better than others. Some are worse than others. Austin, Texas, despite the massive violations of the Bill of Rights and Constitution, is nothing compared to many other cities that we've tracked and analyzed and assessed. And so I'm very blessed to live in this city, as bad as it is. New York City and Chicago are unbelievably corrupt. The police swagger like something out of Clockwork Orange, openly screaming at the citizenry like they're scum and trash. They are encouraged to let the population know that. It is the same in Washington, D.C. I have personally experienced that, versus the police being very professional, say, in Chantilly, Virginia, or what is Fairfax, Virginia, at Bilderberg. And I would love to praise the police. I would love to hold up good officers, because when they do an honorable job as peace officers, and when they have courage and are brave and polite and upright and gentlemanly, they're real men and women and are to be respected. But when they become tools of corrupt systems, whether federal, state, or local, they are the greatest threat to our individual lives, liberty, property, and our country's name. And for the last 2 decades, they've had shows like Cops, where they always show the public as white trash scum, where all they ever show you is the guilty people, the drunks, the trash, and the police are always shown in a good light. And so that created a type of mindless brainwashing of the police and the public. The police themselves, a haughty attitude that they could do no wrong and could behave however they wished. Now, because of internet videos, that is all changing, ladies and gentlemen, and institutionalized frame-ups and corruption and persecution of innocent citizens is now becoming evident to the world. When a young man asks a question, lines up to ask a question in Florida, and asks his question, the security guards believe in America that you're not supposed to ask questions. Then the college police get there and grab him around the neck, even though Kerry was saying, let him finish his question. He came to the microphone, they drug him out, and on video he put his hands out with 3 people sitting on top of him and looked up, lifted his head and said, "Don't taser me, bro," as the officer pulled out the taser, relished the moment, and then tasered him. There's the famous video in San Diego there at the State College where they come into the library. He doesn't have his ID. He tells them, "I don't have an ID." He was a straight-A student there, a junior. And then we interviewed him. That was like a year and a half ago now. These are just some of the famous cases. And he says, "Show me your ID." And he says, "I don't have one." And the guy pulls a taser out and says, "You will show it to me. You will comply." It's used as a torture device, paying compliance. And he said, "Look, I'm leaving." And the officers started tasering him and tasered him 8 times in the back, and then would say, "Get up," only 5 seconds after each taser, which was impossible. And the tasering went on and on and on and on and on. There's many famous cases of where, on video from the jails, where you've got a drunk in there, and the officer says, "Stand on the line," and the guy stands on the line and then sits back down, and he says, "Stand on the line again," and the guy says, "Look, I don't want to." So the officer comes over and starts choking him out up against the wall, and the guy's just begging, not even putting his hands up, because if he touched the jail guard's hands, he'd have been probably killed. That's a little game in there, hung in the cell, as they say, is what normally happens. And the guy just says, "Come on, man, come on, that hurt." So the officer then tasers him. The guy begs and pleads and then crawls and gets up and submits, and the officer then starts gyrating with his hips. You can see him having a little pleasure event. There's now the famous case on NBC News of the TSA thumping their chest like King Kong going, "We have power! We have power! We have power!" as they beat up a Korean War vet. Or a woman saying, "Why are you yelling at me?" just politely. So they just grab her and slam her up against the wall and start pummeling her. Or jumping on people's heads with full force, breaking their necks in Canada. Or, quote, TSA taking people behind closed doors who then kill themselves with handcuffs behind their back by choking themselves. Yeah, right. No, you jump on people's heads and their vertebrae snap. You kill them. You know, I found this out the hard way a few times when people started fights with me, and it was always in a fight where things were going bad for me, and so I had to really turn on the good old boy guts. And, you know, you punch somebody right, they go into a coma for a few months and you get sued. Even if they started the fight with you and you have witnesses, you got to go to court and defeat those charges and call in the witnesses, as I had to do when I was a teenager.